Hey guys, welcome back. It's another Friday, which means another 1 hour mat Pilates practice with me, Stephanie. And we're going to go ahead and be using just our body and a mat if you have one. If not, just kind of a soft carpeted, cushiony bottom for your backside because we're going to be on there a lot. So let's go ahead and begin our class. We'll start lying on our back. Beginning with the knees bent and feet grounded on the floor. Taking time here to really align your knees and feet up with your hip bones so you have a nice narrow stance. All 10 of your toes are pointing forward so your feet run parallel, and stacking your ankles underneath your knees. The arms are going to have full length to them down at your sides, but then angled slightly away from. The palms turned up so the shoulders can start to roll open, and then lightly but actively pressing the backs of shoulders to ground to help broaden your chest. The crown of your head then reaching to the back of your mat, lengthening your cervical spine. Your chin is going to be landing about fist distance away from your chest in this space. Eyes closed to bring your focus inward. We'll start to connect our mind and body through breath work. Let's begin by taking a deep inhale through the nose and a slow, steady exhale out through the mouth. Again, deep inhale, make sure to fill to the top. Steady exhale, making sure you empty completely. All the way down to the bottom. Then as you breathe in, you're pulling it from the pits of your belly. You're lifting it into your ribs. You're filling into the top of your chest. Pause, breathe there and hold. Then as you exhale, you want to empty from the top of your chest. Press down through your ribs and then squeeze it all out through the lower belly. Breathing in, allow your ribs to expand as your lungs fill. Then actively knit your ribs back to midline as you squeeze the breath out from beginning to end. I'd like you to keep your light, easy inhale through the nose. But now I want you to tightly purse your lips and force the breath out of your mouth. Powerful and strong. When you breathe in with ease, the abdominal muscles are relaxed and disengaged. When you push that breath out with power, those muscles begin to activate, contracting your core, firming up your belly. I'd like you to continue to stay with this breath. This is your time to really help build up the relationship between that and your powerhouse as they both work hand in hand. So seeing if you can pull your abdominals in more deeply each time that you're breathing out. Feeling the subtle movement within you just due to the breath alone. And then noticing the sensations that are being created due to the energy of the breath out. Let's stay here for 3 more rounds of breath. Keeping your mind cleared, present, and focused. One more round. Breathe it in big. And then exhale, gently opening up your eyes. Once your eyes have opened up, when you take your next inhale, I want you to slowly turn your head to look over your right shoulder. Breathing out, switch, turning your head then to look over the left shoulder. Again, inhaling, the head swivels back over to the right shoulder. Take your time to arrive, and then exhale at the bottom of your breath. You're going to be looking over your left shoulder again. One more to each side. Try to really find a nice full range of motion here in this rotational movement. Exhaling over to the left one more time. And then finding your head back into a neutral space. Once your head has come back to center, let's now interlace fingers, take our hands to the back of our head, and just cut right at the base of your skull, making sure your neck is free. And then lifting your elbows to the sky, arms closely framing your head. Your arms are now your support system to allow the head to just lay heavily in the hands. Let's breathe in while we're here. You're going to use your hands to exhale, lift the back of head and neck off the floor as the chin presses down into the chest. Return to the ground again, breathing in. Arms will always stay nice and close, framing. Again, exhale, head is heavy, lifting it off the floor, chin pressing into the chest. Feeling this at the back of your neck down through the shoulder blades. And then returning back down again, breathing in. We'll do this once more. Exhale, lifting slow, chin to chest. And then go ahead and breathe in, release the head to the floor. Now, as you exhale, remove your hands and lift your arms up to the sky, stacking above your shoulders, your palms faced in, and having your hands shoulder width distance apart. When you inhale next, I want you to feel the backs of your shoulders lift off the floor and your fingertips reach closer to the ceiling. Breathing out, I want you to take those shoulders and anchor them back down. Again, inhale, reaching up high, and then rooting down, breathing out. Once more, shoulder work, lifting, reaching, shrugging up, and then anchoring, plugging in, rooting down, keeping your anchor. Breathing in next, take both of your arms and slowly reach them to the back of your workspace. Ribs are sealed in, spine is imprinted. As you breathe out, I want you to lift those arms straight back up and then pull them down by your sides, actively reaching your fingertips down towards your heels. Again, arms lift overhead on an inhale, core firming up there. And then exhale, pulling the arms up and then drawing them down in front of you. We'll do this once more. Inhale, up and overhead. As your fingertips reach back, your shoulder blades slide down. And then exhale, the arms lift and pull down close at your sides. Once they've landed here, palms are faced up. And then I want you to look over your left shoulder. Keeping your head in this position, just now moving your right arm. Breathing in next, I want you to take that arm, circle it out and up overhead, keeping the arm in contact with the floor or as close to that you can. Then exhale, take it back out to the side and pull it back into your waistline. So imagine that you're creating angel wings lying down in the snow. Again, with the right arm, inhale, circling up. And then exhale, circling back down. We're going to do 4 more on this side. We're working into the front of the shoulder and a little bit into the chest, the pectoral region. As you circle up overhead, maybe the arm kind of drapes across the head and then pulling out and in, breathing out. Twice more. One more time here before we switch. Right arm circling up. And then the arm circling back in. Once the arm has landed here, keeping it in that position, and then turning now your head to look over your right shoulder. Left arm circles up on an inhale. And then sweeps back out and in on the exhale. Again, circling up. And then pulling back down. We're going to do 4 more here. Again, you want to make sure the arm is either in contact with ground or as close to that you can keep it. That's going to really help to work into the chest and the shoulder. Breathing in, finding your fullest range of motion here within that shoulder girdle. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhaling, circling up. Exhale, circling down. Let's do that once again. Overhead on an inhale. Back along your side as you exhale. Once the arm lands here, bring your head back to center. From center, we're going to lift our arms behind us again to the back of our mat, but this time I want you to either grab hold of your opposite wrists, your opposite forearms, or your opposite elbows with your hands. Generally speaking, if you grab closer to your wrists, you'll have more room for mobility movement. If you grab closer, of course, to your elbows, less movement does require a little bit more flexibility. So if you're feeling like you're not quite getting enough, please slide your hands further out to provide. Your head will not follow your arms moving. Your arms are the only thing that will shift in this next stretch. We'll be stretching our lats here, which kind of run along the upper back portion, but along the side of the body, kind of right behind your armpit. So we'll take a nice breath in here to start. When you breathe out, I want you to draw both arms over to the right side. You'll keep them there. Now I want you to breathe into your left armpit. When you breathe out, arms return to center. Then with your next exhale, you'll draw both arms to your left side. You'll hold the arms there. You'll breathe into your right armpit. And then exhale, arms back to center. Let's do that again. One more to each. Pulling over to the right as you breathe out. Keeping arms here, breathe into your left armpit. And then exhaling, center again. Then as you breathe out next, arms draw over to the left. Hold them there. Inhale to your right armpit. Breathing out, return arms to center, release them and take them back close along your sides. Press them actively to ground and take an inhale. I want you to firm up your lower belly as you breathe out. Use your core strength to lift your feet off the ground. Slowly bring the knees towards your chest. Then we'll place hands on knees. From here, we'll begin to draw circles with our legs. Your legs are moving together in the same direction. Using your hands to guide this movement as you're massaging into the lower back just above your tailbone. Take a moment to pause, reverse its direction, big breaths in, and steady breaths out. Wonderful. And then start to bring your legs back into stillness, nicely centered again. We're going to continue to use our hands in this space. When you inhale next, I want you to separate your legs now and open them up as wide as you can. Breathing out, circling your legs around and bringing them back in together again. Inhale, we separate, we open, we pause at the top of the breath in, and then we sweep around and rejoin, breathe out. Let's do 4 more here. Open, pause, hold, breathe. Circle through, breathe out. Make sure your hands stay always in contact with your knees here. 3 more, opening. And then circling through, breathe out. 2 more times. We're working on the range of motion within our hip joints. 1 last time. After completing, release your feet back to the floor. Now let's open the arms out to a T. Your palms are still faced up and the arms are still actively pressing to floor. We want to create a wider stance with our legs, so we're going to take a step out with both of our feet to the sides. The knees will follow that. We'll work next into the fronts of our hips. We'll be working our abdominal strength and warming up our lower back with subtle rotation. Breathing in, I want both of your legs next to lower down towards the right side of your workspace. And then breathing out, firm up your belly. Use your core strength to pull the legs back up to center, not relying on swing ups or momentum here. Lowering the legs down to the left on an inhale. And then use your core to pull back up, exhale. Let's do 3 more to each side. As you're lowering your legs down, you want to make sure your upper body doesn't start to peel or lift off the ground. So that may mean actually that the legs don't get that close to the floor. It will actually provide a deeper stretch into the fronts of the hips, which sometimes can travel around to the lower back region. Good. Coming down to the left. And then pulling slowly back up. We're going to do 1 more to each. Back over to the right on an inhale. Drawing up on the exhale. Last one here, over to the left, breathing in. Lifting to center, breathing out. Once you have centered, stepping the feet back into narrow stance. From that position, we'll bring the right knee towards the body, place both hands on that knee, and stretch the left leg to the ground with a flexed foot. Using both of your hands, I want you to hug your right leg closer to your body, and then actively pull the shoulders down from the ears. We're stretching our glute, we're stretching our lower back on the right side. As you're hugging the leg in, I'll also ask you to begin to draw circles with your right foot, which will help to warm up the ankle. Let's reverse direction. Wonderful. Let's then take the foot back into still. Let's now open the right arm back out to its side. Plug that shoulder down. Use your left hand for guidance to help ease your right leg across body while looking over right shoulder, coming into spinal twist. We don't necessarily arrive here right away, so use every exhale you have here to settle your body more into form. Deep inhales to expand your midsection. Strong exhales to contract midsection. Let's stay here twice more, breathing in, breathing out. Once more, inhale big. Activate your core as you exhale to unwind slow, return back to center, and then let your right leg release, stretching it out, meeting your left. And the left leg will pull in, both hands on the knee, hug into body. Drop the shoulders from ears as they have a tendency to tense up into that space. As the leg stays hugged, we'll circle the left foot, rolling out, warming up the ankle. Not so concerned about how many you can do in this time frame, but rather the biggest circle you can create. Let's reverse direction. All right, that foot will come back into stillness. The left arm opens out to its side. Anchor it down to the floor using right hand to ease your left leg across body. Looking over left shoulder for spinal twist. Big inhales. Steady exhales. Stay here twice more. On your last one, breathing out, you engage your abdominals, you slowly unwind the body, return to center, and then once you have, bending your knees and grounding your feet to the floor again. From this space next, we'll start to focus on the outer hips and our glutes, stretching them out. We'll start by taking our right leg, crossing it over the left leg. So rather ankle over knee, think thigh over thigh. From there, we'll pull both knees towards chest. And then with our hands, we're gonna hold on to either leg as far down as we can reach without the shoulders straining up to our ears. Once you have a nice grip, I want you to actively hug the legs to you. As you hug in, it lifts our tailbone up. So once you have the hug, I want you to anchor your tailbone back to the floor. The option here to keep your feet relaxed and closer to the floor. You also have the option to flex the feet and begin to lift the legs, bringing them a bit more into 90 degrees. Either one is appropriate, something you may want to explore. It will change the sensation of stretch a little bit, so something you might want to try out. You can also offer very slow and gentle rocking side to side, which also allows the stretch to change a bit as well. Breathing into and focusing on your right outer hip. Deep breaths in, and then steady breaths out. Let's stay here for 3 more cycles of breath. After you have completed here, release the hug in, uncross the legs, and place both feet back to the floor. We'll take it next to the other side. Left leg crossing over right leg. Knees draw in, Hold on to a leg with either hand as far down as you can reach. Then actively pull the legs in. Keep that energy, then also root the tailbone back down to the floor. Remember the options of feet being low and relaxed or flexed and lifted upward towards the sky. Make sure you're open to cross your chest, that you feel the energy of your sits bones reaching up to the front of your mat. There's movement as an option. Just make sure though, if you choose that, take your time. Now, of course, we're focusing on and breathing into the left outer hip. Wonderful. Let's stay here for 3 more rounds of breath. After completing your last, let the stretch gently release, uncross your legs, and ground your feet once again to the floor. Once they have grounded, let's next lift the right leg straight up to the sky. Hold the back of the leg with both hands. Anchor that tailbone again. Then next, you want to feel the back of your leg push firmly into the palms of your hands. Then keep that energy, but then use the hands to try to draw the leg in a little closer to body. Always creating a lot of push and pull forces. Stretching our hamstring to begin. Make sure that the leg remains nice and long, that there's no bend in the knee. Good. As you hold here, I want you to flex your right foot, drive that heel up to the sky, and then point the toes. Again, heel to sky, stretching a bit more into your calf. And then as you point the toes, it transitions to the shin and the top of your foot. Let's do that once again, heel to sky. Wonderful, point your toes. Then let the foot relax, the stretch release, bend your knee, take your foot to the floor. Let's switch. Left leg to sky, hold from behind and anchor your tailbone. Back of leg pressing firm into hands to lengthen it out. And then drawing the leg in to finally come into the stretch. Big breaths in and big breaths out. Right, holding here. We'll now flex the left foot, heel to sky. And then point the toes. Sometimes the stretch can be pretty fiery. Flexing, especially when we drive that heel to the sky. Ooh. And then point the toes. We'll do that once more. Heel to sky, flexing. And actively pointing through the toes. Wonderful. We'll relax the foot, release the stretch, bending knee, taking foot to the ground. From here, I want both of our legs next to extend down to the floor. Nice and long, hugging them together, but then also externally rotating. So rolling the legs open, but still keeping the inner thighs tight into midline. Your arms have full length, close at your sides, and actively pressed to the floor. I want us to first start off with a couple of subtle core exercises. I call this subtle core in the sense that we could do this movement and not engage our abdominal region whatsoever and still be able to do the exercise. However, much more beneficial to tap into our powerhouse to really start to activate and strengthen our deep-rooted stabilizing muscles. So let's begin. We're going to start with our right leg only. When we take a breath in, I want you to bend your right knee and pull that knee towards your chest. Once it has, extend that leg straight up to the sky, nice and long, pointed toes. As you breathe out, I want you to activate your core, use your ab strength to begin to lower that right leg towards the floor. You're not going to lower it completely. You're going to take it down to a level that you can control and maintain. Then we start again. Inhale, knee pulls in and leg straightens up. Then I want you to reach out through those toes as you start to take that leg towards the floor. So essentially we're using our core strength so that we don't rock or just jostle around. We're keeping nice and still. Right leg in and lifting up all on an inhale. Reaching out with resistance, coming down, exhale. Let's do that again. Knee in, leg lifting up, straighten it all the way out, and then take your time. This time, we're going to go ahead and lower that leg all the way to the floor. Once it has, really anchor it down so we can switch sides. Left leg now on an inhale, pulling knee in, straightening leg up, and then we come down nice and slowly. Imagine your leg, we're moving against current. Again, knee in and leg up on an inhale. Exhaling, coming down. So not only are we using our abdominal, we're using our grounded leg and our arm strength. 2 more to help isolate this movement. Control is key in all of the exercises we do here today in class. Last one, knee in, straighten leg up, and then lengthen out as far as you can. This time taking that leg all the way to the floor. Once you have, bend your knees, ground your feet. From that space, pull the legs up into tabletop position, bringing the knees above your hips and ankles and knees on the same plane, essentially 90 degrees. A lot of the time we pull our knees in too close, so sometimes what's helpful to find our sweet spot is to take both of our hands to our thighs, push the legs away until you can feel your tailbone really root down, and that's your end point there. You can keep your arms in this position. With our next movement, at any point in time, you want a little bit more heat, lifting the arms, but making sure they do not shift in space. Toe taps, the shape of your legs will never change. Keep them in 90. Start with the right leg. Inhale, start to lower that leg downward. Find again a level of lowering you can maintain. Use your core strength on the exhale to pull that leg back up. So it's going to be really tempting for our hip flexors to grip and take over. Make sure they stay soft and your core stays strong. Left side now, coming down on an inhale. Pulling up on the exhale. So notice I'm not bending my knees any more deeply to get my foot closer to the floor. What has to happen is the entire leg from the hip joint moves. Left side. 2 more to each. So also making sure when that one leg is moving, the other leg is not tempted to pull in closer to the body. Then 1 more each side, right leg. Left leg. After completing, knees into chest, hands on knees, and just rock and roll around. Any movement here that kind of feels right to let the body release and to recover. Okay, so just, subtle core warm-ups. It still really works the body, but in a way where we're really having to be kind of mentally in tune with our body. We're gonna move next into some abdominal curls. We'll start with both feet grounded to the floor, and then make sure again your ankles are slid beneath your knees. If your feet are in front, there is a much greater chance of our hamstrings cramping up because we don't have that structured stability. Bone on top of bone structure really helps to stabilize and maintain our strength. Let's take those arms back up to the sky again. Palms turn forward, hands shoulder width apart. Fingertips reach to the sky, backs of shoulders root to the ground. Breathe in to prepare. Firm up your belly as you breathe out. We're going to lift up the head, the neck, the shoulders. The arms are going to draw down to a hovered space just above the floor. Arms stiff like a board. Return to the mat on an inhale and restack the arms. Breathe in. Again, initiate with the core. Pull up, arms are secondary and following down, hover. Come down to the floor again, breathing in. We're doing 4 more here. Eyes towards navel, but chin still fist distance from chest. Lower, breathe in, return down, restack arms. 3 more. We don't want to swing the arms down. We want to draw them down slow. Inhale, return to the ground, restack arms. 2 more. Keep your tailbone rooted to the earth. Inhale, coming down. One last. Stay lifted here. Turn your palms to face up, curl in your wrists a little, bend your elbows just slight. Breathing in next, I want both of your arms to begin to open out, but try not to move anything else. Exhale, squeeze the arms back into your sides. Again, we open arms, breathing in. Twice more. Last one to isolate to arm movement. Lower the arms, head, neck, and shoulders. Turn your head from side to side to recover. All right, let's take our head back to center. We're gonna next take the right leg and extend it away from the body, but you want both of your thighs to still be lined up with each other. So your right leg hasn't lifted straight up, it hasn't lowered down. If you take a peek at your legs, hips are lined up, thighs and knees are lined up. Then point the toes of your right leg to really lock it out, stiffen it up so that you can externally rotate it, keep that hip joint nice and open. Arms restack above the shoulders, palms turned forward, breathe in. We'll do that ab curl again. Exhale, lifting up head, neck, and shoulders, pulling arms down to a hover. And then come back down. So it's a little less stability now that our right leg is lifted. We also have to focus on making sure our right leg doesn't move from its position. Come down, breathe in. Let's take 4 more here. 4. Return down on an inhale. 3 more. Good, lower on a breath in. Check that right leg, readjust if you need to. Twice more. Come down, breathing in. Once more, we're gonna lift it up. We're gonna stay lifted and we're going to pump those arms. Keep breathing steadily. 10, 9, 8, 7, legs strong. 6, good. 5, breathing. 4, head steady. 3, core tight. 2, 1. Everything comes down, arms, foot, head, shoulders, rest. Right, so our core has to do kind of a few different jobs. It is working to lift body parts. It's working to keep other body parts in stillness, and it's used for energy and pumping arms. Let's do the other side. Left leg extending away, line up the thighs. Point the toes actively, firm up your leg, and externally rotate it. But then now feel the inner thigh energy hug towards each other. Stacked arms, palms forward, shoulders anchored. Inhale. We lift again, exhale, squeeze it out. Lower to the ground, breathe in. Again. Pulling up, hovering down. Lower, restack, inhale. 4 more. Return back down, breathe in. 3 more. Inhale. Twice more. Come down on an inhale. 1 last. Stay lifted here. Pump the arms through the shoulder joints. Your arms are stiff like a board. 10, breathe. 9, 8, 7, 6, shoulders down. 5, core tight. 4, 3, legs strong. 2, 1. Rest everything down. Release. Rest. A lot of core burn there. Holding position, lifting, and then offering that pumping movement. Makes it a little bit more challenging, okay? So I want us, of course, to continue to strengthen our core, but now we're gonna add in a really nice deep back body stretch as we come into our roll-ups. So let's take both legs down to the floor. This time we're gonna flex our feet. We're gonna make sure that the inner edges of our feet run parallel and that our inner thighs are squeezing towards our midline, hugging into center. Our arms gonna reach behind us to the back of our mat. When we reach arms back, generally speaking, our ribs like to pop up and our back likes to arch. So just make sure that your ribs are sealed in tight and your spine is imprinted to the floor. Another thing that can help with this is feeling the energy of your pubic bone zipping up towards your belly button. You'll already feel that core really tightening up when you do that. Let's start. Breathe in. You'll begin lifting arms, head, and shoulders. Push the breath out to lift the rest of you up, to sit up tall, to hinge from your hips. Here's that deep, deep stretch. So make sure you're still flexing your feet. Make sure you're feeling the energy of your heart stretch up towards the toes, and make sure that your head hangs heavily through your arms. We'll sit up tall next. Inhale. Breathing out, tucking tailbone under, scooping up belly, pushing up through the heels, and slowly returning back to the ground again. Then never let your legs relax. We start again. Begin lifting as you inhale. Articulate the spine, lifting it one vertebra at a time off the floor. Stack first tall. Then from the hips, you want to hinge forward to stretch out. Inhale, coming upright. And then rolling back. Always make sure you look straight ahead so that your chin doesn't wind up diving down into your chest. Let's do a couple more. Energy of the arms slightly behind your ears coming down. All right, so lots of control. Let's do that once again. Start it up. Press those legs down. Sitting upright on an inhale. This time, instead of rolling back down, we'll exhale, just take the arms beside us. Taking a quarter turn to see me a little bit better, but you can stay as you are. We're going to work right next into our spinal twist. It's a nice rotational movement for our spine. We work on posture. We also work on strengthening our oblique muscles, the waistline. Before we begin, another key factor in this is the stabilization of our pelvis. So when we come into twisting movements, if you start to feel one leg, right, shifting, that's an indication, right? So everything's connected, right? You know, that song, the arm bone's connected to the, leg bone, that sort of thing. So if your legs are shifting, then your pelvis is shifting, and we want to keep stability. Our pelvis rooted, anchored, and squared forward the entire time. With that being said, your rotations aren't going to be very big, but much more effective for our muscle groups. We keep it really concentrated and small. If you're finding that legs fully extended bothers your hip flexors, pulls on your lower back, you can bend your knees a little bit here to relieve that. Just make sure your feet always stay flexed and your legs stay squeezed together. We're going to take our arms this time into a cactus position. So 90 degrees, bent at the elbows, out to your sides. Notice how elbow is lined up with shoulder level and wrists are above the elbows. Fingers are spread out for energy. If our hands are dead, then it's like a domino effect. Everything else will let go as well. So making sure everything is lively and active. Your chest lift up, your shoulder blades pull in and down your backside. We'll breathe in right at center. We'll lead with our waist. We're going to twist to the right. Think about getting taller as you rotate, but then feel that left arm pulling back a little bit to resist you. And then come back through center, breathing in. So notice if you saw me, my twist, not that big at all, but works. Take it over to the left. Again, it's tempting to lead with our arms. Just allow your arms to follow what your upper body is doing. Return to center, breathe in. Keep drawing between your shoulder blades like you had a lemon there. You were trying to squeeze. Squeeze a lemon and twist back over to the right, like you're climbing up a spiral staircase. Come back to center, breathing in. Again, make sure those legs don't shift at all. Let's take it over to the left. The right arm is resisting you. Let's return back to center. Let's do one more to each. To the right, growing taller up to the crown of your head. Inhale into center. And then lastly, to the left. Good, return back to center when you inhale. Let the arms come down as you exhale. Good, rolling out those shoulders. We're gonna take a nice little stretch across the upper back next. So we'll bend our knees deeply, hug our legs together. We're gonna tightly wrap our arms behind our legs and as firmly as we can, grip our arms with our hands. This really tight, firm grip is gonna be very important to help with our stretch. We're gonna take our chin to our chest. We're gonna scoop up our belly. We're going to round our spine and then try to pull ourselves away from our legs. At the same time, though, you wanna feel the backs of your legs push into your arms, creating that energy force, which provides more depth of stretch. We're gonna breathe between those shoulder blades, deep inhale. And a long exhale. Let's do that again. Breath in big behind you. Exhale it out. Let's do that one more time. Inhale big. Breathing out, start to pull your belly back into thighs. Stack up the spine, release the grip of your arms, and let them relax down beside you again. Wonderful. Just want to check in the time to see what we've got going here. Wonderful. Let's go ahead and move into some side body work next so we can strengthen our outer hips and our inner thighs. Let's start by lying on our right side to begin. So coming down on your right side, you just want to make sure you're in a straight line and you're stacked up. Your left hand comes onto your hip and your elbow points up to the sky. Want to flex both of your feet and then feel the entire right side of your body press down into the floor. Your left leg is going to hover and it's going to roll in just slightly. We don't want the toes to angle up. That way we're going to strengthen our quad. Not a bad thing, but I really want us to focus on the outer hip region. So making just sure that your toes always stay pointing forward through. Then your belly pulls in and up. We're using our abdominal strength here to help us with balance. Let's breathe in while we're here. As you exhale, I want you to use your hip strength to lift that left leg up a little bit higher. And you're going to hover the leg down on inhale. So everything else in your body is like a statue, just movement of left leg, lifting it on an exhale, firm up your belly each and every time. Hover the leg when you breathe in. Let's take 4 more. 4. Hover the leg. 3 more, lifting. And hovering. Beautiful, let's do 2 more, lift. Good, hover. 1 last, let's lift that leg up. And then let's only lower the leg down half of the way this time. So legs are about shoulder width apart. I want us next to take our left hand now and bring it down to the floor in front of us, just in kind of front of our sternum here, right close to our body. I don't want you to dump and fall into that hand, just light touches with tented fingers. Keeping your foot flexed here on an inhale, I want you to help with your core to bring that leg out in front as far forward as you can without your upper body falling back. And then exhale, point your toes. Now reach the leg behind you without your upper body falling forward. So this idea of moving our left leg but stabilizing our upper body is key. Flex the foot, breathe in, pull that leg out in front, belly tightens up. Point the toes, activate the glutes as you sweep the leg behind you. 2 more, flex the foot, draw the leg out in front, push out through that heel, and then point the toes, start to reach back, and then use your bottom leg to really anchor down with. Let's do that once again. Flexing foot, pulling the leg out in front, pointing toes, reaching as far back as you can without your upper body shifting. Return that leg back in line with everything else. Reflex your foot, take your hand back to your hip, and I will pulse that leg upward towards sky. Keep the thigh rolled in and pulsing up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let the leg come down nice and slowly. Bend the knee to the ground in front and tap out that hip. Doesn't take a whole lot of work to get that hip really working and fired up. So this is a nice way to kind of break up that lactic acid that gets built up when we do so. Okay. We're going to work next into our bottom leg. So let's take that left foot, step it behind our right leg, bending that knee towards the sky. Then angle your right leg slightly a bit more in front. It'll just give you more room for movement. Hand back to hip, elbow back to sky. We're going to flex the right foot, hover the leg, but this time we're going to externally rotate so that you can really start to focus in on your adductor inner thigh muscle. We'll breathe in to prepare, and then exhale, lead with your heel and lift up that leg. Hover it down on an inhale. Again, lift. Hover down with resistance. Beautiful. We'll do 4 more here. 4. Coming down. 3 more. Lowering. 2 more times. Let's lift. Good. Hover with resistance. Last one, we're lifting up that leg. We're keeping that leg lifted. Imagine now that you had a marker on the heel of your foot. Begin to draw some circles with that marker, but the whole leg moves as one unit. Breathe. 3. Take your time. 2. Control it. 1. Pause. Reverse direction. So again, as your right leg has movement, everything else should not. Breathe. 3, 2, 1. Let's pause and let's pulse upward towards the sky. Pulse with that inner thigh muscle. For 3, pumping up. 2, 1. Leg comes down nice and slowly. Once it has, let's restack our body. Let's rest all the way on that right arm. Extend that left arm to sky, fingers spread out, shoulder plugged in, toes pointed, and legs tightly squeezed together. We'll work our waistline next. Breathing in to prepare. Cinch in your left side body as you exhale. We're going to lift our head and lift our legs. Take it down on an inhale. Small movement, not to be big. Exhale, head and legs slowly lift up. Use the entire breath out to get there. Come down on the inhale. We're going to do 4 more. As we lift up, it's tempting for that left arm to pull down some, so make sure it's still nice and vertical towards sky. Come down on an inhale. Again. Lower. We'll do that 2 more times. Lift. Coming down, breathing in. Make sure your right arm is nice and relaxed. Once more, let's lift our head, lift our legs, stay lifted. Paddle the legs, flutter kicks, but keep that left arm still and steady. 3, point those toes. 2, lift a little higher. Good. 1, and then let everything come down, arm included. Wonderful. We're going to do all of that on the other side. So however it's easiest for you to transition onto your left side body next. Lining up, stacking up once you arrive. With your right hand now to your hip, elbow to the sky, pushing out through those heels. The left side of your body anchors down firm. Your top leg hovers, slightly rolled in. And then you want to look straight ahead to line your neck up with your spine. Here we go, our second time through. Lifting that leg up on the exhale. Hovering the leg on an inhale. Lift with your hip strength, pull up, and then balance with your core strength. Hover down, breathing in. 4 more here. 4, push through that heel. Hover the leg. 3 more. Coming down 2 more times. Lift. Hovering. 1 last, pull that leg up. Take it half of the way back down. Keeping the leg there, take your hand to the floor just in front of your sternum here, tented fingers lightly touched down. Keeping the upper body from rocking and rolling. On an inhale with the flexed foot, we want to pull that right leg out to the front. And then you want to point the toes as you breathe out to reach back. Flex the foot, breathe in, pull the leg to the front, maybe barely touch the ground, maybe your fingers hover. Point the toes and reach back. So this does require a fair amount of abdominal strength. We'll do that 2 more times. Push through the heel, pull the belly in, draw the leg out in front, and use your left side body to root down on the floor. Press in, point the toes, start to reach back. Last one, push out through heel, pull belly in, draw the leg forward, point, sweep back, using your glute strength. Good, bring the leg back in line with the rest of the body, flex the foot, hand back to hip, and we pulse, 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 upward, breathe, steady, core tight for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Leg comes slowly down. Once it has, bend the knee to the ground. Yeah, tap out that hip. We will get some hip stretching in after we complete our side body work. Okay. So let's continue on. Right foot stepping behind the left leg angling a little bit more in front, the hand coming back onto your hip. Flex your left foot, hover that leg, roll the thigh open towards sky, the inner thigh. Lead with your heel, lift up on the exhale, hovering on an inhale. So we're strengthening not only the inner thigh, but our lower kind of pelvic floor muscles. So pull that lower belly in and up and lift up that leg. Hover it down, breathing in. We'll do 4 more here. 4, lifting up. And then taking it down. 3 more. Good, hover with resistance. 2 more times. Lift, heel kissing sky. Hover. 1 last, we're gonna lift up that leg, but we're gonna keep it there and imagine there's a marker on our heel. We begin to create circles with that leg as one solid piece. Breathe for 3. Take your time. 2, stabilize. 1, pause, reverse direction. So really plant your right foot into the floor. Really pull that belly in deep. Breathe at 3, 2, 1. Let's pause. Let's pulse, pulse, pulse upward. 10, 9, 8. Good. 7, 6, 5. Breathe. 4, 3, 2, 1. Leg comes all the way down to the ground. Once it has, stack back up, rest on your left arm, reach the right arm up, spread those fingers, plug that shoulder, point your toes, squeeze your legs. Inhale. Your right side cinching in, exhale to lift your head and legs off of the floor. Take it down, breathing in. Again, squeeze and lift up. Inhale to come back down. We'll do 4 more here. 4. And lower. 3 more. Coming down on an inhale. 2 more times. We lift. We come down, breathing in. On this last one, we're going to lift. We're going to stay lifted. We're just going to flutter, kick the legs, move from your hips. Keep that right arm sturdy and still. 4, 5, 4, 3. Keep your lift. 2, breathe. 1. Good. Let everything come down nice and easy. Rest. All right, we are going to, let me see what I'd like to do next. Okay, let's roll onto our back really brief. I want us to go through 2 core exercises. It's going to be the first 2 of the AB 5 series. We're not really going to take much of a break in between, trying to really just kind of fire up our core again. So rolling on your backside. The first one we'll do is our single leg stretch. So with both knees to body, place your hands on your right knee and then extend your left leg away from you. Reaching it higher to sky has more ease on the body. Closer to ground has more heat for the body. Also, you can keep your head grounded, or if you want more intensity, you can do it with your head and shoulders lifted with the elbows slightly swept out. We're going to take an inhale next to switch the leg. And then exhale to switch, staying with one breath. Inhale. And then exhale, one leg long, the other one hugging in. Inhale to switch, point through those toes. And then exhale to switch. Upper body steady. Inhale. And then exhale. Now we'll double up. Inhale to switch the legs twice. And then exhale to switch twice. Inhale, switch. Exhale, switch. If you want even more heat, hands behind the head, elbows wide. Exhale, switch. Inhale, switch. Exhale. 4 more. Inhale. Exhale. 3 more. Exhale. Twice more. Exhale. Last ones. Exhale, switch, switch. Bring both knees in. Let the head come down if we're up. Hang on and rock side to side. Take a deep inhale. And then a strong and steady exhale. Good. Second one, double leg stretch. We're kind of already in position. Knees to body, hands on knees. Head can stay grounded. Head can come up for more heat. Breathing in now, I want legs, both of them to extend forward, both arms to reach back. Circle the arms around, pull knees in, breathing out, coil back in. Expansion on an inhale. Contraction on the exhale. Good. Pause, breathe at the top before returning back in. Inhaling. Exhaling. 6 more. Good. 4 more. Anchor your spine. 2 more. Last ones. Resting after completing. Let's keep the knees to chest. Let's open the arms out to a T. Lower your legs down to the right. Look over your left shoulder for rotation. And then go ahead and switch to the other side. Then we'll come back through center. Once we have, take both feet to the floor, bring your arms down beside you. We're going to come to stretch our outer hips into our classic figure 4 stretch. So we'll now take the right ankle and cross over the left knee, flexing of the foot, taking the hand to the inner thigh, pushing out on that leg, opening up some more hip space. Once you've opened up your hip, coming into any variation of the stretch that works for your body. Take time to explore if you'd like, kind of shifting your weight from left to right. Always feel though the anchoring of your tailbone. That's going to help deepen your stretch. Give yourself 3 more rounds of breath here. Once you've completed, no rush to get there, but you'll come back to stillness, return back to center, and then let the stretch release. You can switch sides, left ankle crossing, foot flexing, hand to inner thigh. This is all just prep, right? This is prep for stretch. We want to get everything active and open so that when we come into stretch, it can be at its fullest expression. Softening the shoulders, keeping the back of your neck nice and long. The energy of your sits bones, once again, stretching up to the front of your workspace. And a big focus on that left outer hip. Let's stay here for 3 more cycles of breath. And after completing here, stillness, center, releasing stretch, bring the knees to the chest. We're going to start to rock ourselves forward and back, up and down the spine until you can rock up to a seated position. And then once you've come up to seated, we're going to transition to a straddle with our legs, opening the legs out to their sides nice and wide. Sometimes what's helpful is to take one hand to the ground in front of you, one hand behind, either tense your fingers or create fists with your hands. You're going to push off the ground to lift your butt just enough off the floor so that you can press your pelvis forward, deepening your split, and then settling back down with both hands now in front of you. Press out through your heels. Sitting upright tall might be plenty of a stretch for your inner thigh and groin region. You can stay here. If sitting upright is not actually working and you're like collapsing, instead I want you to lean back like you're sunbathing, but then actively continue to press your pelvis forward. Or if you have a little bit more flexibility, a little bit more ease, you can start to hinge forward instead. Either position, flat back, long spine. If we pull away, we lose. If we lengthen, we deepen, right? Deepen, stretch, deep breaths in, and then steady breaths out. We'll stay here for 3 more cycles. And again, without rushing, once you have completed your 3 rounds of breath, you're just going to stack up to seated if you're not there already. Once you have, you're going to go ahead and cross the legs. Ground the sits bones. Sit up nice and tall with your arms beside you and palms to sky. When you take an inhale, your arms are going to reach out and up, and your hands lightly touch above you. When you breathe out, your hands pull to your heart space. And we'll do that 2 more times. Inhale, sweep down, out and up, light touch above, and then exhale, a draw within. Last time here, inhale, high to the sky, connection above, connection to yourself. Keeping your hands at your heart, bring your chin towards your chest, close your eyes to bow in, and thank yourself, right, for showing up here to this practice, for being present and mindful to your body, your mind, and soul, listening, honoring, and respecting your body, and forever continuing to keep it moving. Thank you guys for once again tuning in to another 1-hour practice. Enjoy this one and know there's always more to come. Have a great rest of your weekend. See you all soon. Bye.